Alli Ray. All right, I'm going to read this. Hey, everyone, with your questions in the Facebook group, if you're going to put them through ChatGPT, tell it to consolidate it more, because there's telltale signs when people use ChatGPT. The M dashes, the way they do it, the emoticons, all that stuff. Not that I care, but it's just these are long questions. Thinking about downsizing. Would love your thoughts. A couple of years ago, I bought a big, beautiful house. I was happy working and maintaining that lifestyle, but now I'm in a different season of life. Do you like my dramatic effect? Yeah. Potentially transitioning away from full-time work, maybe permanently, maybe just a break. And it's got me rethinking everything, especially my living situation.
You should be a primary school teacher reading a story to your 6-year-old.
This is the worst podcast episode that we've ever done, and I'm sorry, everyone. I've owned the house for just under 2 years. Purchase price, $730. Closing costs and all that crap, $775. $35K in interest and another $10K in miscellaneous costs. So my total investment is roughly $810. I think the current market value is somewhere between $850 and $900, so I've probably broken even or made a modest gain, factoring in selling costs. Emotionally, I love this house. It's been my sanctuary, and I've genuinely enjoyed living here. But realistically, it's a bit much just for me, both in terms of space and upkeep, gardening, cleaning, general maintenance. I also feel too emotionally attached to rent it out. I think we've got to sell the bastard, Alli. Next question. I worry tenants wouldn't look after it with the same care, and rental yields in this area aren't amazing anyway. So here's where I'm at. I'm considering selling and downsizing to a 1 to 2 bedroom apartment, say 5 to 650. That would still give me a home base and some property exposure, but with far less maintenance and stress. It might also free up some equity and mental space so I can focus more on travel, health, and generally enjoying life. I could even rent out a room if I wanted to. And if I leave for a few months, it feels a lot less, it's better to have an empty apartment than an empty house, blah, blah, blah. In the same time, is this short-sighted to sell now, only after 2 years? Should I just keep the house, accept the cost of upkeep as a vacancy as part of the ownership, and ride out the wave of prices continuing to go up? Curious to hear what others have done in this situation. Would love your perspectives, especially if you face the love the house but life is shifting kind of decision. Look, Alli, you have our permission to do that. It's okay to do that. What do you guys think?
You don't have my permission.
Oh.
I think you got to keep it. Like, it comes back to the priorities in one's life, right? And if financial wealth is something that Alli appreciates, don't know if it is, it's current market somewhere between $850 and $900. So let's say worst case $850. Purchase price has been $730 in 2 years. $120K is not the real cost, but the buy versus value cost, right?
Can I just jump in there, John? When Alli said $35K in interest, you can't really use that as part of this.
Correct.
Because you're paying for accommodation wherever you are on this planet if you're renting or got a mortgage. So
that's And one of the points to my story is the $35K in interest. Right? Yeah. Who would have thought?
Who would have thought it?
So I'm thinking this is not a bad asset. Yeah. Now I get that, okay, I move out, I can't stomach someone living in it, all that. Like there's no right or wrong. It depends on your personality and respect to that. But can we find another way? We haven't spoken about potentially getting a gardener in that can do some general maintenance for once a month. Is that okay? Like, are we going to regret? We haven't made any money conceptually when we sell this, or very little. And are we going to regret going and buying a 1 to 2 bedroom apartment that's most would say an inferior asset, and look back in 5 years' time and say, why the hell did I do that? I could have sucked up the gardening or the maintenance or whatever it might be. So just a little bit of a thought for you to ponder, Alli, before you go rushing into selling it. We might wake up and potentially regret it.
Rage.
And I can see why you may be hesitant, especially the emotional attachment having lived in a property. And you also noted that rental yields aren't good in the area. So I can see why you may not want to rent it out. I would want to do the scenarios both ways of selling this and buying that apartment, or selling this, buying another asset that you're not emotionally attached to, that's an investment, and renting an apartment. I just want to see the scenarios done both ways, because I think if you're going to a good asset to a maybe not as good an asset, is that a great financial move? And I just want to see the scenarios done both ways. If you were talking to whoever does your finances, just say, could you work this out for me? How does it look if I bought and downsized, and how would it look if I sold and then went and bought another asset and rented?
Yeah, it's Alli's probably a really good candidate for a clarity call. Actually, you know what? Guys? I think I did a what would... I don't 100% know or remember. I'm just thinking because the name there, I may have done a what would Glen do with this person a couple of years ago, and I don't think we ended up putting it to air because she wasn't comfortable with it. So she might, I don't know. I just think, and while you guys were talking, I was writing down, like, there's something here, you're scared about something. What is it?
Yeah, some fear somewhere.
Is there a pain point that isn't this situation here? Because, in, like, medicine and health, they call it referred pain.
Yes.
So, my neck's sore. Yeah, you idiot, because your hips are out of joint or something like that, whatever. Like, is there something that is not in sync in her life that we want to throw this out with the bathwater? And the only reason I'm just like, piss the bastard off and sell it, and it is different because when I rented at Merriweather Heights, that big-ass house.
Yeah, it was big.
Like, it was literally, I was the same thing. It's like, this is just ridiculous. I don't need a 3-bedroom house with 2 backyards and double car, 2 living rooms, and the lawns and the maintenance was huge. And the lady that lived next door since 21 or whatever, she's like, oh, yeah, Tracy and Bob, they were in the garden every day. And I'm like, oh, yeah, well, that's not me. I'm sorry. I'm getting someone in once a month and they're doing a crap job, but I don't care because I don't want to pay $5,000 a year or $100 a week to have someone come around.
But think about that. Case in point, you didn't own that.
That's right.
And that blue chip suburb, great asset, land, big house, like that's got dollars written all over it in 10 years' time. Yeah. And this could be the same. That's my concern
so,
for
Alli, I want you to actually reach out and book a clarity call with John. What do you charge? $450 or something now? $500?
$450.
$450. Spend an hour with John. I then want you to go back to your mortgage broker or reach out to Sphere and just get some scenarios, because at all times in my big therapy sessions, we've discovered and everyone's got this, there's emotional Glen and logical Glen.
Yes.
And, 80% of the time, logical Glen rules the roost in my life, maybe 90%.
That's good.
And there's been some times where logical Glen has to get the F out of the way so emotional Glen can breathe and assess. Maybe emotional Alli is 90% of the time and logical Alli only pops up every 10% of the time. So what I want you to do, Alli, is get some data on the table financially, and then, because you've only been there 2 years, and I know it's your home, but in your mindset, if you did move out and keep it as a property, like, she might not have the money to buy an apartment, and we don't want to borrow against this to buy an apartment to live in. Can we rent for a couple of years and just see without selling this asset? And then we have to change our mindset to, it's no longer a home of mine, it's just a house. And then it's the tenant selection. Like, you can really choose your tenants and do all that. But I just think it's a great dance between emotions and financials.
And what is it that you don't like about your job? If you're wanting to drop down to part-time, maybe take a break, is it actually the job that's causing some angst?
That's true. Yeah. So lots going on there. I love it. It's good. But I just don't want you to, like, I am a fan of selling the bastard and, we tried that, didn't work, get an apartment. But we don't want to turn around in 5 years and say, crap, I wasn't in a great headspace.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have done that. So maybe we need to slow down and go, okay, I'm not making any decisions until February, because I've done that with my motor car situation.
Yeah, and this has that written all over it. Don't know, Alli, but it's like I've got an investment property, the hot water system blew up and the tenants moved out on me. I've got these short-term issues. Can I resolve them? No, I'll just sell it.
Yeah. Hey, it's Glenn here. Thank you so much for watching today's video. You made it to the end. Can I ask a favor? Can you hit that like button and maybe hit subscribe if you want to get notified when we release further videos just like this one, whether you watch the Money, Money, Money podcast or Retire Right. And remember, if you want to learn more about investing, I've got an investing book, The Quick Start Guide to Investing, and there's a link in the description to get your hands on a copy. Thank you so much. Bye.